Okay, this is exciting. We have our first After Effects project pretty much built here. I have my TV alpha layer and I have the video clips layer that's rolling along underneath it. It looks really interesting. Before I go any further though, I'm going to take a moment here and save my file. It's a really good idea before you make any major changes to go ahead and save whatever you've accomplished up till this point. It's not unheard of also for After Effects to sometimes crash and you just lose whatever work you didn't save yet. So get into this habit of saving frequently. So save project. So I know that whatever my next step is here, if I want to revert to this saved version, I can. The next thing we're going to do with this project, I'm going to add an effect. So if you notice up here, there's this tab that says Effect. If I come down here, this list might look a little overwhelming at first, but don't worry. After Effects offers you a lot of options and a lot of things that you could do to your footage. Today we're going to start just by using one effect. I want to apply it to my video layer. So I've already got my video layer highlighted. Remember that when I'm about to set this effect up here, it's going to apply it to whichever layer I have selected. So if I had the TV alpha layer selected, it would apply the effect to that. In this case, I want to make an effect on my video layer. So I already imagined the way that I want this final project to look, and I wanted it to have the appearance of an old TV set, and that this black and white footage would look like it was being played back on an old TV. So one of the effects that I was experimenting with that to me it helped to enhance that look was under Noise and Grain, and it's this one called Add Grain. And from there, you'll notice immediately it starts in a preview mode. Now this helps your RAM playback, but that setting is here. You could see the entire film clip. Note that if I kept it on this preview mode, when I render it out as the final video, it will still apply the effect to the whole film clip region. So let's go to our final output, and from there I'll encourage you to just be really curious about all of these settings. You'll notice that there's a lot of different things. These are all properties of the effect. And start experimenting. What happens if you drag these all the way over to the left or the right value? What does each different setting do to the image? If you want to quickly preview what it will look like with or without the effect, you can always come up here, the Effect Controls, and select or unselect this little FX here. So that takes off the effect, that puts it back on. If I decided for any reason that I don't want that effect anymore, I can highlight it and delete it, and now that effect is completely gone. In my case, I decide that I really do like that particular effect, so I'll add that grain again. And I'm going to drag some settings around here, just experimenting with the different looks that I can get. You can also put multiple effects onto a layer. So let's say that I already have my grain and I like the way that that looks. What happens if I also add this one that's called Dust and Scratches? I'm going to set this to see the final output because I think it will be easier for me to see how this might affect it. Wow, that makes a big difference when I'm dragging that radius setting back and forth. That has a really interesting look, but it might not be just exactly what I'm after in this particular project. I'm going to turn that effect off. And in fact, if I decide that I don't want it anymore, I could just delete it. So try this out, and when you've added some effects to your video layer, save your project, and then join me in our next tutorial where we'll talk about how to export the project.